one last word on the situation with Randy Moss. A lot will be said with what he did after the touchdown on the catch in this end zone down to our right. He just can't seem to get out of his own way. And along what you guys talked about earlier, despite him and despite the act that happened last week with him leaving with 2 seconds left on the clock, the rest of this group got together and put together a tremendous effort here at Green Bay and Lambeau Field today. So hats off to Mike Tice for what he did guiding this team to what appears to be a 14-point win at Green Bay.
And really, Mike Sherman, in his comments to us yesterday, really had his hands on it when he said that I am most concerned with the fact that this Minnesota Vikings team has had so much turmoil this week. They had the embarrassing loss. They talked about the collapse. They had the Randy Moss incident. Sometimes that does something to a football team. They sort of close the doors and it turns into an us against the world type of mentality. And for whatever reason, agree with it, disagree with it, Randy Moss, bad ankle and all, this Minnesota Vikings team came out here and got it done and jumped on Green Bay from the start. That first 10 minutes or so of the game was simply the difference here today.
Well, I think there's criticism. There has been criticism, I should say, with this Vikings team in the fact that they have not had leaders that step up and have been able to help this team close out games. And I think when you look at what transpired this past week, if nothing else, we learned that the Vikings do have leaders, and at least those guys are Dante Culpepper and Matt Burke and the job that they've done. And couldn't be prouder for the job that these Vikings have done here today.
You go back to week 2, the Eagles and the Vikings. McNabb runs for a touchdown. Culpepper passed for 343 yards, but had a key fumble at the Eagles' 2-yard line. And in the end, the Eagles beat the Minnesota Vikings 27-16, and they're in line for a rematch. And we're having the pouring of the Gatorade on top of Ted Cottrell, the defensive coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings, with 29 seconds left. On 4th down, the Vikings are going to hand it to Ontario Smith. The Packers will take over at their own 15 with 23 seconds remaining. And Ted Cottrell ought to be awfully proud with the way his defense played today.
I think the last time a defensive coordinator got dunked with Gatorade was Buddy Ryan in 1985 with the Chicago Bears.
That carried off, but there's no question that the return of Antoine Winfield today has made this defense a different football team. He's been gone for about 4 weeks, and this defense, to me, is really the story. Yes, Randy Moss made some plays. Dante Culpepper was terrific, but this is probably the best game we've seen defensively out of the Minnesota Vikings this season.
And it will be the end of a very disappointing afternoon and evening for the Green Bay Packers right here with 23 seconds left. Down by 14, Favre throws it to Tony Fisher, and Fisher cannot get out of bounds. The Green Bay Packers cannot stop the clock, and I guess it's fitting that Winfield comes up with that tackle. That's going to do it for this day of football at Lambeau Field. And by the way, Dante Culpepper, including the postseason guys, over 5,000 yards passing at 5,001 with what he did here this afternoon and evening at Lambeau Field. And Mike Tice with a handshake for Brett Favre. And let's go down to Chris Myers, who's with Culpepper.
All right, thanks, Joe. Congratulations, Dante. A club record time 4 touchdown passes in the postseason. What was the difference in the confidence of this team in this particular game?
We just came out with a chip on our shoulder. You know, everybody doubted us. We just kept fighting, keep scratching. We knew we had the talent. We just got to come out and show it.
All right, and now it's on to Philadelphia against the Eagles. You saw them earlier in the year.
Yeah, we did. We saw them earlier.
Are they a different team without Terrell Owens? Beatable for you?
Well, you know, anybody's a different team at the end of the year. Definitely not having him is going to, you know, play a factor. But we're not looking at these guys any lightly. They're still a great football team. You know, they're the first seed in the NFC, and we got to practice this week and prepare for them like that.
All right, we'll see you next weekend. Thanks, Dante. Congratulations again. All right, Joe.
All right, Chris. Thanks. Culpepper, 284 yards passing, 4 touchdown throws, 11 on the season against the Packers. Rushing 6 times, 54 yards. Dante Culpepper, the Minnesota Vikings moving on. We'll be back to wrap it up after this.
From the minute my son was born, I knew I wanted to be that dad. The guy who can show you how to throw a perfect spiral, fixing bikes and skateboard ramps, going to ball games. My father was that dad, and now I've become that dad. That's why I bought a Saturn.
Introducing the 7-passenger 2005 Saturn Relay with the security of OnStar and DVD player standard. Right now, every 2005 Relay is available with 5-year, 60,000-mile worry-free ownership.
Not in our house, buddy. Not today.
Oh, no! This ain't going down! Not today, not in our house!
Not today.
Not today!
Not tomorrow.
Nobody coming in here! Not in our house! Not in our house!
Visa, official card of the NFL and the house of the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots, where they accept no other card to get you in. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Well, it looks like the King has challenged the call, Dino, so the play will be reviewed. You know, from here, it looked to me like illegal use of the hand truck. How about you?
Yes, it did, Dan. Let's check it out from a different angle.
All right, let's take a look. He has possession of the Bud Light here.
Oh, no question about it. He's distributing a beer with less taste.
We're going to find out. Here comes the decision.
After further review, the call stands. Miller Lite has more taste than Bud Light and half the cards.
Miller, good call.
Oh, he didn't like that.
When you're a star like me, things are taken care of. You see? A second bag. Second.
Even my independent insurance agent spoils me.
Ryan, after comparing a number of companies, I recommend Drive Insurance from Progressive. You'll get a policy customized just for you.
How does the other half live?
Actually, I do it for everyone.
Do you?
Everyone gets taken care of with Drive Insurance from Progressive.
The NFC Divisional Playoffs next weekend in HD on Fox.
Wow. Oh, somebody's got to do this. Oh, yeah.
Let's go, Matt! Not that far, Matt. You got this.
Oh. Wow, you really stuck that landing.
Shut it.
Go new places, experience new things. Forerunner, now that's moving you forward.
I bring the beat, I bring the thrills, I bring the heat, then it's my turn to chill. I want a meal, yeah. I want a deal, yeah. I want it fresh, yeah. I want some cash left, that's Mickey D.
March into McDonald's and enjoy 2 delicious sausage McMuffin with egg breakfast sandwiches or 2 juicy Quarter Pounder with cheese sandwiches for just $3.
Water everywhere. But this kind you shouldn't drink.
If ever there was something you had to see to believe, this is it.
The Bottom Line, tonight at 9.
There is the final score, 31-17, a 14-point win for the Minnesota Vikings and a dunking of Ted Cottrell. What a job today by the Minnesota Vikings defense. UPS delivers a chance to win the ultimate home football experience. Just log on to foxsports.com on MSN. The day for Dante Culpepper, playoff game, a mirror of what he did during the regular season. What a year he had. He continued it into January, and now this Minnesota team will move on to play the Philadelphia Eagles next weekend. Sunday, 1 Eastern. Subway postgame show is coming up. JB and the gang. Don't forget, season premiere 24 coming up tonight. Vikings moving on. Wildcard weekend is officially over.
It's the Subway postgame show, brought to you by Subway. It's what to eat when you want to eat fresh. Subway, eat fresh.
Tonight on Fox, it's the season premiere everyone's been waiting for, 24. Now, if you haven't seen 24, now's your chance to get on board television's greatest thrill ride. The nonstop season of 24 begins with the 2-hour premiere next, except on the West Coast. All right, folks, and we welcome you back here to Studio A here in Los Angeles, California for the Subway postgame show. Let me just talk in general terms first. Coach, again, it happened the way Mike Sherman was afraid it might happen.
Yeah, and, you know,
I watched Mike Tice in practice this Thursday. He was into practice as intense as I have seen in a long, long time. He's been under a lot of pressure, but congratulations on this win.
Well, we knew it could go either way. If Minnesota were to score early, we talked about it before the game, they had an opportunity to jump out, gain some momentum, gain some enthusiasm, come together as a football team. They did that. If they had given up scores early to Green Bay, who knows what direction it could have gone. Minnesota's explosive.
Yeah, they are. And for you Green Bay Packer fans, it's the first time since '91 when Lenny Infante was your head coach that you've now had a losing record at Lambeau Field. Mike Sherman with 1 year left on his contract as head coach and general manager. Now you have to ask the question, will there be an extension? Right now, it would not look that favorable for him.
All right. Embellishments as the Blonde Bomber packs in a little education with the highlights. Let's get started right now with the Blonde Bomber.
It's my Harvard training.
Yes,
all right,
indeed.
let's have some fun here. Green Bay, Lambeau Field. What a great place to play a football game. Dante Culpepper, Randy Moss coming into this game having lost 4 or 5. Strike early, 20-yard touchdown pass, the old fly pattern to Randy Moss, 14-0, Vikings on top. But Brett Favre answers, as you would expect that he would, driving the pack down, 4-yard hook route turnaround, that is. Bubba Franks catches it 4-yard version, 17-10, Vikings. And then quick post or the slant, whatever you want to call it. Nate Burleson is there, 19-yard strike, 24-10. Second half now, Dontarius Thomas hits Brett Favre right as he releases the football. Ball is deflected by Brian Russell and picked off by Ralph Brown, third pick on the day. Favre would end up with 4 interceptions. Culpepper stands in the pocket, rolls right, spots Moss. Moss, 2 touchdown receptions on the day, 70-yard. Culpepper, 4 touchdown passes, and your final is Vikings on the road, 31-17. 2 times now in the last 3 years, Green Bay has lost at home in a playoff game. Remember, the other one was to Michael Vick and the Atlanta Falcons.
Randy Moss has 9 career touchdowns in the playoffs, tied with Andre Reed and Lynn Swann for 5th most all-time. Chris Myers caught up with Randy Moss after the game to talk about the game and that move after the touchdown.
All right, Randy, congratulations on the win. You in pain right now?
I'm a little bit of pain, man, but I really don't feel the pain after a victory, man. It feels good to come into Lambeau and not steal a victory, but beat them up pretty good. And it felt really good to really come out here and get us a victory today.
How about 2 touchdown catches, but the kind of the moon move in the end zone afterwards? What was that all about?
Just playing, just having a little fun, man. I didn't mean no harm, just having fun with the boys a little bit. So I guess I was just enthused. I scored a touchdown, man. It's just a touchdown celebration. I hope I don't get in trouble by it, but if I do, I'll take the heat.
And just finally here, your actions, do you think it brought this team together in this game? Your actions of last week?
Nah, I think you guys blew that up and left it up to my coaching staff and players to answer the questions all week. So it was a bit of a bumpy road throughout the week, you know, with me walking off the field, but we whooped that.
All right, thanks, Fran. I'm glad you hung around. All right, JB, back to you.
We blew it up, JB. Blew it up. Is this Disneyland? I mean, I don't follow this guy.
The Vikings and Randy Moss, after a controversial week where he was a lightning rod around the league, he walked off the football field. We didn't blow it up. Randy Moss drew attention to himself on national television. Now, here's the deal. He has an opportunity to go out and play well. Throws a great block on the Mo Williams run to spring Mo Williams for the first touchdown, 2 touchdown catches, and then he makes that end zone celebration that he talked about, and it just goes to show you that class and talent don't always go hand in hand.
On a positive side, I think some of the moves that Minnesota made in their defensive secondary, and especially getting Antoine Winfield back in the lineup, really caused Brett Favre to be out of rhythm, and then also getting the 4 picks. Their secondary was a big key. Obviously scoring 31 points for 3rd time in a row against Green Bay, but their defense stepped it up today.
I would like to see the NFL office. You know, I know our viewers. Are you as tired of seeing that garbage as I am? You know, someone in New York just, you know, take some guts and make a big stand, slap a huge fine on it. Got a lot of money. Maybe something, JB, something eventually. The light bulb has to go off on this. He has to understand he is putting his team under a lot of pressure because of his childish behavior.
You know, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for my colleagues here. And you know what? And I got to be honest. I mean, as much as I try to exercise some restraint, it is absolutely unbelievable because talent only excuses so much. That was classless, ignorant, and embarrassing, and that's just calling it like it is. All right, folks.
Some people are going to get it. Obviously, in that post-game interview and the interview with Jimmy earlier in the day that we showed, he doesn't get it.
And that's an absolute shame.
Doesn't care either.
You know, he is tremendously talented, but again, talent only excuses so much. All right, folks, we're going to step aside for a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll move ahead and talk about the Elite Eight. Yeah, the Indianapolis Colts, they are a part of that. Peyton Manning, huge day. The Blonde Bomber will embellish that. The Elite Eight, the divisional playoffs coming your way next weekend as the playoffs continue. We'll come back here and elaborate more after this.
And here comes Plummer back, making a nice play after stumbling.
Switch to US Cellular and take our Best Network Challenge for 30 days. Then you'll be sure it's the best network for you. It's one more way we connect with you. US Cellular.
I'm Corey McFerrin. The final word rolls on tonight. We got a wild card weekend to talk about. Join Tom Waddle and I tonight at 10 on the final word.
Next week, the NFL's second season continues with the divisional round of the NFC playoffs. Saturday, the Rams take on the Falcons at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. Then next Sunday, the Vikings battle the Eagles at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Coverage of the NFC playoffs continues next weekend in high definition only on Fox. Of course, a reminder that coming up in less than 8 minutes, it will be 24. You won't want to miss that season premiere. 2 nights, 4 hours, folks. It is fantastic. And how you said what
character is loosely based on the life of Terry Bradshaw. Jack Bauer, super agent.
Loosely based.
Very loosely.
That will be strong indeed. You won't want to miss it as we welcome you back.
No.
Terry Bradshaw, obviously wearing a number of different hats. 24 coming up in less than 8 minutes as well. All right, folks, after the game today, Pam Oliver caught up with Mike Sherman. That is always a very tough interview to conduct. Mike Sherman of the Green Bay Packers with our Pam Oliver.
Okay, Mike, I know that was difficult on so many levels. What bothers you the most about the way that happened?
We're a better team than we played. How we played today, we're better than that. It's disappointing that we didn't play up to our level of expectation. Here we are at home with our fans, and to lose a game at home like this is as disappointing as it gets. I'm proud of the men in the locker room because they've battled this year. They've done some good things, but we didn't do much good of anything today.
Can you share a little bit about what you said, and perhaps, I guess, your final talk, which I guess will be tomorrow, but what you said to them after this ball game?
Well, the fact that you can't win football games and make the mistakes that we made today. We just made too many mistakes. Minnesota's too good a team to hand them things. They earned a lot of things. They did a great job, but we certainly made our share of mistakes and didn't help ourselves.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Back to you, JB.
All right, Pam, and let me turn to our coach, and that has got to always be a tough situation.
Yeah, I mean, especially the way Green Bay has played here the last, 11 weeks. 9 out of 11 they won. They're playing at home, on a roll, playing against a Minnesota team that was a little bit down as far as confidence-wise. Mike Sherman now has to go back and says, okay, how do I correct this defense? Is it coaching? Is it players? Is it scheme? What do we do to correct it? We'll find out.
All right, there was no corrections needed in the early game as far as the Indianapolis Colts were concerned. TB, take it away.